without a princess, and this concerned the king and his ministers greatly.
This is a severe heiress deficit. Oh my gosh, deficit.
The Prime Minister told the king, tapping a chart, "We must immediately increase the number of young female royal individuals in the palace vicinity."
That's what I tried to say.
This wasn't an impossible task. The king once did have a princess, but she had been lost since childhood. The king and his ministers simply had to figure out how to track her down. But just as they got started thinking, they were interrupted by the court jester, Million Laughs Charlie.
Thank you very much. Knock, knock.
Excuse me, we're doing business.
The king said to his ministers. Then he said to them, "How about if we offer 1,000,000 gold crickles to the princess if she shows up?"
1,000,000 crickles? Can I get on that project? Hey, do you happen to remember what she looked like? Good. Oh, that's too bad,
said Charlie, rubbing his hands. "She was just a baby when she left," explained the king, "but I'll know her by the way she passes this test I have in mind." But Million Laughs Charlie wasn't listening anymore. He wasn't even there. Charlie had run home and called up his date for the night, a lovely maiden who lived next door, and canceled on her.
Hey, Rapunzel, how are you?
Hi, Charlie.
Do you remember our date to Chuck E. Cheese tonight?
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, well, something came up. My girl's at the hospital. I need to pick up her phone. See ya.
Little did the royal court know that Million Laughs Charlie was also an amateur magician by night. He recruited his friend Clyde, a rather big man with a rather small brain, to help. And before Clyde knew what hit him, poof. He had blonde hair, a lot of lipstick, and was on the way to the palace to meet the king.
I don't want to be no princess.
Whined Clyde. Shush, shushed Charlie. As they arrived at the palace front door, he said, "Hey, king, I'd like to introduce you to your princess." Said the king.
More of a 5 o'clock shadow than I remember.
"But if she passes the test, I'll know she's the one." And with that, the king led the make-believe princess to a tall pile of mattresses. Under the bottom mattress, he explained, there was a small pea. If she was a real princess, she would be so refined, so sensitive, that even a tiny lump like that wouldn't let her sleep. The make-believe princess climbed to the top of the pile and lay down as Charlie, the king, and the ministers waited at the bottom. In the morning, the king and his court climbed to the top, and sure enough, the make-believe princess was snoring away blissfully.
Aha!
Said the Prime Minister. "This individual lacks the qualities necessary to be a member of the royal family."
He means that ain't no princess.
Charlie and Clyde found themselves escorted out of the palace, helped along by a swift kick or two on the bottom from the palace guards. "Now you've done it, you hussy," shouted Million Laughs Charlie. But Clyde didn't get off that easily. Over the next few days, Charlie poofed his friend into a red-haired princess, a brown-haired princess,
Oh boy.
and an even browner-haired princess. Charlie, hoping to keep Clyde awake, would offer him coffee and tell him scary stories about monsters and politicians. But each time, Clyde would sleep soundly through the night and in the morning would be forced to leave the palace rubbing his rear. After several days of this, the two dejected men went back to Charlie's house to regroup. And there, Charlie's neighbor was out in the yard washing her carriage.
Hey, honey, remember that date and it didn't work out? Yeah, about that. Would you like to go on a date with me tonight?
I'm sorry, Charlie, but I'm just so tired. I couldn't sleep a wink last night. I think there's a pea under my mattress.
Oh, did you try reading Dr. Seuss?
Wait a second, didn't sleep a wink? Yes, Charlie had figured it out. This really was a princess, the real thing. The girl that would get the million gold crickles. The girl that would get all the crickles and the titles of her realm. Before you could say greedy no good, Nick, Charlie had taken the girl to meet the king.
Oh, darling.
Said the king, giving his daughter a hug. Here's a million gold crickles minus 30% for taxes, plus your choice of any man in the kingdom.
Clyde!
And that's the story. The king had his daughter, the princess had her gold, and Clyde had the princess. And they all lived happily ever after. Oops. Almost all lived happily ever after. Poor million-lapsed Charlie spent the rest of his days unsuccessfully trying to sell unauthorized fairy tales of the king and his court. The end. Thank you, Mr. Taylor's group. Come on up and get set.